Congress MP D.K. Suresh's statement of separate country has created a storm of controversies, as it should. How dare somebody speak of a separate country when India is a union of states? India is a union of states, and well-performing states in India feel that they are being shortchanged, that there is fiscal injustice. There is an urgent need to address this concern. There is a desperate need to convince states by the union government that corrective measures will be taken to ensure that well-performing states are not being punished while poorly performing states are being rewarded year after year. While the media, as well as the BJP, which is the opposition in Karnataka, and the ruling party at the union level, have focused only on two words that DK Suresh uttered: separate country. Everything else that he spoke about: fiscal injustice, repeated reduction in devolution of taxes to well-performing states, Hindi imposition. None of these issues are being debated or spoken about, perhaps conveniently. On this episode of State of Play, I tell you numbers that narrate a story. Before you outrage and start labeling me or anybody else who speaks about fiscal injustice to states, take a look at the numbers. Welcome to the show. I am Anusha Ravi Sood. Let's start with the latest first. Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, 2 out of the 5 South Indian states, are the top 5 contributors to the country's GDP. More or less, the trend has been similar for many years now. At least 2 states from the south rank in the top 5 states that contribute the largest to the country's GDP. But in the interim budget that was presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman just last week, a look at the table of contents that lists how much money is being given to states from the central pool of taxes shows you that none of the 5 southern states list even in the top 7. In that list, on the 8th spot is Tamil Nadu. So there are 7 states before any of the southern states that get much larger chunk of money, much bigger amount of money from the central taxes and duties. So what, one may argue? There is constantly a comparison to how much states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar get. Take a look at the same table. Uttar Pradesh has received funds that is 26,000 crore rupees over and above the funds allocated to all 5 southern states put together. One may argue that, of course, Uttar Pradesh is a bigger state. It has much more population. The needs of the people is much higher in that state. No argument at all. But let's look at this bigger state, more people argument. Just speaking area-wise, all 5 southern states put together, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, all 5 states put together have 3.92 lakh square kilometer land area, bigger than Uttar Pradesh. Let's talk about population. Of course, Uttar Pradesh has a huge population. Its land also is higher. But all 5 southern states put together, the population, the people who live in the 5 southern states, this is 2011 census numbers because we do not have new fresh census numbers yet. The union government is yet to carry out that exercise. Anyway, 2011 numbers. All 5 southern states put together have 2.5 crore more Indians than Uttar Pradesh alone. Yet, this one state of Uttar Pradesh receives 26,000 crore rupees more than all 5 states put together when it comes to centers, taxes and duties devolution. This is one part of the financial or the fiscal injustice that well-performing states talk about. Here, when I say well-performing states, there is also Gujarat, there is Punjab, there is Maharashtra. It's not just the southern state, but presenting to you the arguments that southern states have been making. Take, for example, devolution of taxes. Every year, every time there is a new finance commission, states make a case for themselves demanding that there should be more allocation for them. In the case of Karnataka, even special grants that were recommended by the 15th Finance Commission to make do for the reduction or the deduction in tax devolution, 6,000 crores were recommended to be given to Karnataka by the 15th Finance Commission. The union government did not accept that recommendation. Karnataka has not received that fund as well. Look at Tamil Nadu, for example, a state that makes huge contributions to the country, whether it is GDP growth, whether it is the economic growth, industrial output, etc. The 15th Finance Commission recommended that Tamil Nadu get 4.07% of the total divisible pool of taxes. This is a huge reduction from the 12th Finance Commission recommendation that had kept its share at 5.30%. Look at another aspect. Between 2015 and 2022, Tamil Nadu contributed in direct taxes 5.16 lakh crore to the country. And in return, Tamil Nadu received only 2.08 lakh crore. Right. Of course, not every penny you pay to the center has to come back to the state. But look at how much Uttar Pradesh or Bihar received. In the same period, Uttar Pradesh contributed 2.24 lakh crore to the country and it received 9.04 lakh crore rupees. According to the 15th Finance Commission recommendation, Telangana too saw a reduction in its share of central taxes or taxes from the divisible pool. From 2.4%, Telangana was recommended to receive 2.1% by the 15th Finance Commission. Andhra Pradesh too saw a reduction. The 15th Finance Commission recommended that Andhra Pradesh get 4.04% from the 4.31% that it used to get initially. Under the 10th Finance Commission, Kerala's share of central taxes was 3.8%. The 15th Finance Commission has reduced it to 1.9%. That's a huge gap between 10th and 15th Finance Commissions. This is the story of a state that has been ranked number one by none other than Niti Aayog on overall human development indices. But Kerala and Andhra Pradesh receive something called the revenue deficit grant that is given by the Finance Commission whenever the finances of the state is not in tune with the Fiscal Responsibility Act. But states like Karnataka that have always adhered to Fiscal Responsibility Act do not receive this fund. Once again, this is almost as if the Finance Commission is giving more funds to states that do not manage their finances well and is punishing states that do manage their finances well. Out of the 28 MPs in Karnataka, 25 are from the BJP. Two more MPs, one an independent, one more from the JDS, are now alliance partners of the BJP. So this entire bloc has 27 out of 28 MPs from Karnataka, but not one of them spoke about what the state deems fiscal injustice to the state. It was the lone Congress MP who spoke about this issue, and this turned into a controversy when he warned that if these fiscal injustices, if these inadequate funds, if these concerns are not addressed, there may come a time when the states will be compelled to seek a separate country for themselves. BJP leaders in Karnataka have pointed to how the state has received much more money, actual value of money, has received much more money under the NDA-led government since 2014 than it used to receive under the UPA-led government previously. Leaders like Dr. C. and Ashwath Narayana have insisted that Karnataka has seen a hike of 245% as far as devolution of funds to the state is concerned under the Narendra Modi government. They are right that the amount, the value of money that has come to Karnataka has increased year on year. But what the leaders fail to highlight is the percentage of the money has been consistently reducing. In fact, Karnataka and for that matter any state, has been receiving more funds over the years only because states have been contributing that much more or perhaps even more than what they are receiving. Clearly, the numbers indicate that well-performing states are receiving far less than what they're contributing to the central pool of taxes. The union government can give money to the states only if the states contribute towards the union government's divisible pool of taxes. The states are contributing much, much more than what they are receiving, especially in case of states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Take this for example. When I say look at it in terms of percentages, for every rupee that Tamil Nadu sent to this union government or paid to the union government in forms of various taxes, GST, direct tax, etc. For every rupee that Tamil Nadu paid to the union government, the state received only 29 paise back. Compare this with an Uttar Pradesh. For every rupee that Uttar Pradesh has given to the union government, it gets 2.73 rupees, that is 2 rupees 73 paise back. A state like Bihar, for every 1 rupee it contributes to the union government, it receives 7.06 rupees back, 7 rupees 06 paise back. That is where the concern lies. Let us be very clear. This has got nothing to do with whether well-performing states should take care of their not so well-performing states. That's not a question at all. Of course, as a country, we have to contribute towards each other's development. The concern here is how well-performing states are not being rewarded for their performance. It's got nothing to do with the states demanding that the entire 100% of the money that they're contributing coming back to them. That's impossible. A Mint analysis, the newspaper Mint, did an analysis of central government redistribution of funds to state governments vis-a-vis a small calculation, a data calculation of how much do each of the states get for every 100 rupees they've spent in 2016-17 fiscal year. For every 100 rupees that states contributed to the center, Tamil Nadu received 29 rupees back, same as 1 rupee and 29 paise. Karnataka gets only 36 rupees back for every 100 rupees that it pays to the union government. Telangana gets 70 rupees back, Kerala 52, and Andhra Pradesh 68 back. And this trend has pretty much remained unchanged. Like I said, the question is not about whether state governments, well-performing states, have a problem with contributing towards the development of underdeveloped states. That's not the issue at all. There are other concerns that have been raised by several well-performing state governments. If the money that is being pooled in the divisible pool that is meant for devolution to state is one concern, the yardstick that are being applied by finance commissions is another concern. With GST regime in place, the venues for states to raise their own revenues are shrinking every year. GST compensation period has ended, which means the states no longer receive any kind of compensation to make up for the loss that they are facing under the GST regime. Other than all of these factors come these golden two things that the union government does: cess and surcharge. Cess is a tax on tax. Surcharge is something that the union government is allowed to charge on people whose incomes are above 50 lakh. Cess is a very interesting concept. Now, cess and surcharge, any money that is collected under cess and surcharge will not go into the divisible pool of taxes, which means your direct taxes, GST, go into the divisible pool, which is meant to be shared with the state governments. But money collected under cess and surcharge remains with the union government. The union government does not have to share this money with the state governments despite the money coming from the states. The union government's argument is that cess is levied for very specific purpose so that money can be raised to invest in centrally sponsored schemes. Now, the state government's arguments are simple. Why not transfer this entire cess and surcharge into the divisible pool of taxes, give it to the state governments, and allow them to implement these schemes? A lot of these schemes, centrally sponsored schemes, are also state subjects for the states to manage. The union government insists that even though it collects cess, it returns it to the state in the form of centrally sponsored scheme. But whose names and photos are part of the centrally sponsored schemes? In fact, in Kerala, the health minister had to hold a press conference to say that the union government has stopped sending funds for its health centers because Kerala refused to rename these centers with Hindi words. Union finance minister comes to Telangana or visits other states, visits ration shops and asks why a photo of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not hung. There are several states like West Bengal that have raised concerns over how funds have stopped for this Food Security Act or scheme because photos of Prime Minister Narendra Modi are not in ration shops. States have raised concerns over inconsistent funding for centrally sponsored scheme. Take, for example, Narega. State governments have been raising concerns over the union government repeatedly and increasingly adding more items under cess and surcharge, which it does not share with the state government. Perhaps this number will give you an idea. Between 2018 to 23, collections under cess and surcharge increased 133%. Karnataka did a small estimation on what this number could perhaps mean. Because of this cess and surcharge, Karnataka insists the union government has made perhaps about 5.2 lakh crore rupees. 5.2 lakh crore rupees that is not going to be shared directly with the state governments. 5.2 lakh crore rupees that is not part of the divisible pool of taxes. Like I said in the beginning of the show, India, by constitution, is a union of states. We follow a federal structure. Fiscal federalism is a very important component of this structure. Right now, the desperate necessity is to address the concerns of well-performing states, with the 16th Finance Commission now set, listening to case by case, state by state, as they make a case for themselves. The union government too perhaps has to listen to why states have concerns over what they deem is fiscal injustice. As a country of very intelligent people, we definitely can come up with solutions to ensure that poorly performing states do get adequate resources, attention that they require without it coming at the cost of well-performing states. Helping poorly performing states need not be an exercise in punishing well-performing states. And the union government has a huge role to play in convincing well-performing states that it is not victimizing them. The first step towards this, perhaps, is to consider the state's recommendation to move cess and surcharge collections into the divisible pool as well. The outcome of the 16th Finance Commission can go a long way in addressing concerns of well-performing state without compromising on the interests of states that need much more help resources. Consider these numbers before outraging or before asking why do southern states make such a fuss out of allocation of funds from the center. Thank you so much for watching.